Okay, welcome back guys to video number 2 of today's tutorial, and we're going to be covering the HTML and CSS part. And let's start with cutting some images from our PSD files. So let's see what kind of images we would need. Um, First of all, we need the bubbles, the price container bubbles. We need all 4 of them. And we need 2 versions. We need them with a white stroke and with a gray stroke, like this. Let's see what else. We need this badge, and let's see what else. And actually, that's pretty much it. We don't need a lot of images because the buttons are going to be made using CSS3. The text is going to be made using font face, so we're going to be using some Google fonts. Same goes for this. The rest is CSS. So yeah, that's oh yeah, and of course we need the final image will be this um, gradient on the bottom. But other than that, we're just gonna have pure CSS. So let's get started with these badges here. So let's grab this one, duplicate it into a new one, go to image, trim, select transparent pixels, click on OK, and you have the image that we need. So you can go to File, Save for Web and Devices, and we'll save this as a PNG file. And let's create a new folder inside our HTML folder, call it IMG, and this will be called price. Let's call it price1bg.png. Okay. And let's go ahead and do the rest. Do the same for the rest. Really quick so we don't waste a lot of time on this. And this is going to be price2bg. Okay. Image, trim. Let's export the white version first, and this will be called price3bg, and then export the dark stroke version, which is price3bg recommend, for instance. And let's do the same for this. Now, I'm sure there are a number of ways that you can export images. I do it like this since I'm very used to it and it goes kind of fast. So for this bit, you can just go ahead and choose the method that works best for you. So that's price4bg recommended actually. And let's do the same for the first 2. I know I have some duplicate steps here, but I just realized that I could have done this when I first exported the images, but no matter. And finally, that is the final price bubble, and that is called price2bg recommended. Okay, so those are the price bubbles. Let's grab the badge, if I can find it. So it should be in column 3, recommended. There it is. Okay, and call it badge recommended, or recommendation badge, or whatever. Okay, next I said we need a piece of this gradient right here, so grab the rectangular marquee tool and make a selection, something like this. You don't have to be very precise with the height, since this is a very very low, a very small image in size. So you can either export it as a PNG or JPEG. I'm just going to stick with PNG, and we're going to call it table bottom gradient. Okay, let's see what else. The buttons, those are CSS. We got the badge. Oh yeah, we need, finally, we need the this grid. And the easiest way to grab this is to select it like this. So let me zoom in a bit closer. I don't know if you can see it, but you need to grab a 10 by 10 selection of something like this, just as we created the grid for use in Photoshop. It's basically the same thing here. So when you repeat it, it's just gonna become a seamless background like this. So copy it, 10 by 10, save it as a PNG or JPEG, since we don't need transparency here, and we'll call this I don't know, something nice, like table header BG, something like this. That's a very nice name. Okay, so I think we are done. Yeah, we are done here. And let's go ahead and fire up Coda and start typing in some code. Now I'm going to be using the HTML5 doc type, and if you are wondering where this if you're wondering how I got this code in here, you can check out my previous tutorials about Zen coding and text expander, and you're going to see that it's a feature of text expander. Basically, you type in a shortcut and it just expands to whatever text you set it to. So I'm not going to go over that now. Just check out my previous quick tip videos about improving your productivity. Okay, so let's see. We need some custom fonts first of all. So let's give it a title: How to design and code a modern pricing table. Okay, and the fonts that we need, you can find those in Google Fonts. So fonts.google.com and Google Font directory. There we go. Okay, so we need Oswald, and that is the condensed typeface. So a very nice interface for Google Web Fonts here. Very nice. So let's see. We need to link this into our website, and we can get rid of the type since we're using HTML5 and we don't need that. And we also need PT Sans. So PT Sans. I think this is the one. Yes. So let's see, we need normal and we need bold. I'm not sure we need italic, but you know, by choosing more styles, it kind of increases your page load time. So it's really up to you. I'm just gonna go with normal and bold since I didn't use italic anywhere. So go ahead and copy this. Okay. And that is the Google Fonts. Now we must link to some style sheets of our own. So let's just do link. href is going to be master CSS, or rather reset CSS first. Let's also add this. And this one will point to master CSS. So link rel style sheet. Okay. So that's pretty much done with the head part. Now let's create those CSS files. So reset CSS and then master CSS. Now master CSS, I started using this. It's kind of a CSS header for my CSS files, and it allows me to create a description for that file. So I encourage you to do the same thing. It's it looks professional and it kind of helps you. So the project name in this case for me is modern pricing table. Okay. Now obviously feel free to input your own data in here. So now about reset CSS, I'm just going to import one of the CSS files that I am using. So let's see if I have it around here. And no, I do not have it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and grab it from my other CSS file that I already made. And you can get this from the developer yahoo.com. It's a reset CSS file based on their library, and it kind of takes away all the margins and paddings of various elements, so it gives you a clean slate to start your project on. Okay, so apart from the traditional elements that are included in the CSS, I added this, the sup tag, and I chose font size 50% for it. That's the superscript, and the rest is pretty much the same. So I'm gonna close that, and master CSS, I'm gonna close this as well. Now the first step is writing the markup. So we're gonna write the markup first, and after that we're just gonna go ahead and create the CSS file to style it. So let's begin with this. It's a div. We're gonna create a page container first. Now this is just a placeholder. it's just for this demonstration. Whenever you're using the pricing table, you can just delete this. So I'm just using it to add some padding in the page. So page container, and this will have a div with an ID of table container. Okay. And this will be end table container. And this will say end page container. I always use these comments after the end of the divs, so I know which divs ends in which position. It just makes my life easier later on when I want to debug or something. Okay, so let's have a look at our page here. Now, I'm not a big fan of tables. I prefer, whenever I can, I prefer to use divs instead of tables. But in this case, when making the rows here for all the four columns, you need to use tables, because if you don't, and let's say you create individual columns and you make list items, whenever one of the rows will expand on two lines. So for instance, if I do this, the rows next to it will not expand as well, and you don't want that because this is a table. And I'll just show you what I mean in more detail when we get to that part. So this is going to be divided in two parts. The first part, which is going to be this part, will be made up of 4 divs, which will be floated, and each one of them will have a 25% width, so it divides by 4. And the rest of the page from here to down here is going to be one big table, which we're going to style. So let's begin by creating the 4 divs. So we're going to have a div with an ID, with a class, I'm sorry, of, let's call it table cell. Okay, and that will contain another div with a class of table heading, which will have the dark heading here. And let's see what else we need. Inside table heading, we're going to have this, the title of the plan, which will be an H2 probably. And then we're going to have the price container right here, the bubble. So I think we can include that in another div. And let's give it a class of price container. Okay, that's good enough. And let's expand on this. So we have table cell, table heading, the H2, which will be basic, and then the price container. Okay. Now the price container, we're going to have a separate style for this and a separate style for this. Excuse me. And so let's add a paragraph and say $9. And let's include the decimal places inside a sub tag to make them superscript. And now for per month, since we need a different styling for it, let's just make it a span. So span per month, and let's close the span. And pretty much that's the only thing that we need. So let's go ahead and end the price container here. And we're going to end the table heading here, and also we're going to end the table cell. And let's go ahead and clean this up a bit. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and copy this table cell, and we're just gonna copy it and paste it 4 times. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and change the names. So we have basic, we have corporate, which has a different price, and then we have business, which has a different price, and finally we have platinum, which has, yes, a different price. Okay, so that is our 4 divs, and we'll just keep it like this for now and go ahead and write the rest of the markup. All right, so let's see, table container, table cell. All right, let's go ahead and create our table now. So table, and it's going to have a class of pricing table content. And let's see, the first thing that we need to do is add a row for the sign up buttons. So we're going to have tr, and each tr, let's give it a class of sign up row. So each td will have a link, which is going to be a href, and the class is going to be, let's say, sign up button. Close the anchor tag, and let's say the text sign up. Okay, copy this, paste it, and we're gonna have 4 sign up buttons per row, like this. Okay, next we begin the actual content of the table. So tr, and let's go ahead and mark this so we know what's going on here. Sign up buttons. Okay, so for table content, the first row is going to be this. Oops, sorry. It's going to be this, disk space, and so on. So we're going to do strong. It's going to be 100 megabytes, disk space. Copy it, paste it, and it's just going to have different values across the table, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these since they're just placeholder values. Let's see, let's just change this to unlimited just to make a bit of a difference. All right, that's the first row, and this is the boring part now. We just copy it, paste it, and replace this with monthly traffic. And again, copy, oops, copy it, paste it. The next one is going to be subdomains. 2, 3, 5. All right. Copy it, paste it again. The next one is going to be email accounts. And let's just be smart about this. Okay. And the next one, I do apologize if you started sleeping by now. This will be webmail support. All right. Next one will be MySQL support. All right. Let's see what else. What kind of support? PHP5 support. And finally, plus control panel. And finally, we have the spam assassin. So spam assassin. All right, so that is our table for now, and the next step is to add the table footer. So I'm just going to use the tag tfoot just so we can target our elements better inside CSS. So for the footer, if we have a look, we just have one big row, and each cell is going to have the same structure. It's going to have a heading, a span, and a button. So we can do this like this. TR is going to have TD times 4, and each TD will have an H4 plus a span plus an anchor tag with a class of sign up button. So let's see what happens when we expand this. Now look at that. I just love Zen coding. So we're gonna have let's say $9, and this will be sup and sup. The span will say per month, and href points to nothing, and the text is sign up. Now obviously I'm just going to copy this and paste it 4 times, but I just wanted to show you the power of Zen coding. So we're going to do this 14, 29, and 59 finally, and that is our footer. So let's see, end tfoot, end table, and table container, and page container. And that's pretty much it for the CSS file, for the markup file for the HTML. So let's open it in Chrome to see what we did here. And I think we got all the information that we need, all the table stuff. Looks pretty good. And before we move on to CSS, just some minor changes that we need to do in the tables. If we take a look at our finished product, we see that um, as we progress through the plans, we get more and more options. So that means on the lower budget plans, we don't have stuff like Spam Assassin and Plus Control Panel and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and delete those. So let's see. This webmail support, we have it on all of them. MySQL support, we have on all of them. PHP 5 support, we don't have it on the first one, so we just put nothing in there. Plesk, we don't have it on the first two, so we delete those. And Spam Assassin, we only have it at the last plan, so we do this. Okay, and the rest is as it should be. Okay, look at that. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's open up Master CSS and get started on writing the actual CSS file. So first of all, let's mark this this section of the CSS as general styles. So we're going to say body, and we're going to use the font family of PT Sans as the default one. So PT Sans with a fallback to Arial sans serif. And what a fallback means is if PT Sans is not available, then it's going to show the fonts with Arial. Alright, font size is going to be 14 pixels, and let's not forget about the line height of 1.3 ems. Alright, so that's the body. Let's check it out, refresh. Okay. Next, we have that page container, so let's go ahead and do that. And the page container, as I said, is just a temporary thing, just to show our pricing table on the middle of the page with a bit of padding, is just for showcasing. So div page container, we're going to give it a width of 960, margin set to 0 and auto, and then we can give it a padding top of about 200 pixels. And that's a bit too much, so let's do this. Okay, so now it has a width of 960 pixels and it's aligned on the center. It doesn't appear to be aligned on the center because the table didn't occupy the full 100% of the width. So let's see what let's see what we can continue with. Take a look at our index HTML, and we're going to begin with table container. So let's see, table styling. So div with a class of table container, it's going to have a border of 1 pixel solid, and let's grab the color of our table here, of our table stroke, and the color is E2, E7, EB. Alright, next we'll add a padding of 1 pixel. Remember the 1 pixel gap. Okay, and let's see what else. Let's also add this bottom gradient right here. So we're gonna have background URL img, and the image is called table bottom gradient.png. So table bottom gradient.png, and we're gonna set that to left bottom, and we're gonna repeat it on the x-axis. Okay, let's have a look. All right, looking good. We have the stroke, and we have this gradient on the bottom. All right, so next thing, let's see. Let's go ahead and do table, pricing table content, and let's give it a width of 100% so we can see what we're dealing with here. All right, so that took up the entire space here. All right, looking good. Now let's move on to, let's see, table container, table cell. So let's style one of these columns. So we have div with a class of table cell. Let's see, width should be 25%, but in this case I'm not going to use percentages to give widths, because we also have a 1 pixel border on the right, and if we do 1 pixel border and then 25% width, it's just gonna look awful, because when using tables, if you have 25% width and the border, the table automatically compensates for that, but divs, well, they don't compensate, so you're going to end up not having enough space in your container for all the divs, if that makes any sense. So instead, I'm just going to go with a fixed width, and that width is going to be 238 pixels. And if you're wondering where I got that value from, well, all you need to do is subtract 4 from 960 pixels, and I'm saying 4 because we have 1 and 2 pixels here, plus 2 pixels on the right side, that's 4. And you also subtract 3, which is the 3 pixels that make up these separators. So you would have 960 minus 4 minus 3, that's minus 7. So you're going to end up with 953. Divide that by 4 and you're going to get a value close to 238 pixels. So I'm just going to go with this. Let's see what else we need. We need to float it to the left, and also we're going to do text align center, just to align the text inside the table cells. So now if we refresh, we get this, which is beginning to look like the end product. All right. Next, let's go ahead and add styling for the table heading. So div table heading, it's going to be like this. Background, it's going to have a color, the dark color that we used here, which is 3A, 3C, 3F, and also we'll have an image, so img, and we're going to grab that table header bg, table header bg.png, and that's the grid pattern that we used. So we're just going to repeat that, so we can leave it like this. And this one needs to have a fixed height. So for height, if we go back here and measure it, it's 140 pixels in height. So let's do height 140 pixels. And let's refresh to check it out. And already you can see that it looks pretty good. Let's not forget about the separators though. So for table cell, I believe, yes, we need to add a border right of 1 pixel solid, and let's go ahead and grab this color right here, 5D6163. Check it out, and there you go. Those are the separators. Good, looking good. Okay, next step, we need to push down these elements, and we need to start styling these price containers. So table heading, let's add a padding top. I think around 20 pixels, but let me just measure this just to be sure. So we have around 28, so around 30 pixels actually. Okay, so that is 30 pixels, and we need to subtract 30 from this. Okay. So let's see, we have the padding, and we have the height, we have the background. Let's go ahead and style that H2. So div table heading H2, and the color is going to be white. Font family is going to be Oswald. Fallback to Arial sans serif. And the font size is going to be 20 pixels, if I'm not mistaken. 20 pixels, yes. Refresh. Okay, looking good. And next, take a look at our index HTML. We have H2, and then we have the price container class. So let's continue with that. Div with a class of price container. All right. Let's see, price container. Let's take a look at the structure here. So we have a paragraph and we have a span. Now I forgot to add an additional class here because each individual pricing bubble has its own size and a different style. We need to target that differently with CSS. So let's do this. Let's add a class of price1 besides the shared class of price container. So we would have, this is price2, price3, and price4. Okay. So now, besides the price container, we can style those columns individually. So let's see, div price1. We can set the background img price1bg.png, And I think this needs to be, let's see, if we use it as a background, it needs to be top and center, and no repeat. Okay, let's have a look real quick. All right, we need to give it specific width and height values. So width is going to be, I think, 110 pixels, 112. So 112 pixels by 112 pixels. Okay. And that is not centered anymore. Why isn't it centered anymore? That is a very good question. Maybe it's because it's too big for its container. So I wonder if we set margin 0 in auto to the price container, if that's gonna help. Yep, it does. All right, so setting the margin of 0 in auto, so setting the lateral margins to auto on price container will align the whole div inside the parent div, which is exactly what we want. Okay, looking good. So let's see what else. We need to push this down a bit, the whole thing. So let's see what kind of margin we're talking about here. So we have 30, I would say 35 pixel height. So price 1, let's say margin top 35 pixels, and that pushes it down nicely like this. And it's exactly the effect that we want because it overflows. It looks like it's kind of, it cuts off the header, so that is what we want. Okay, next we need to style the price and the span inside it. So let's see, price container, I think we can get away with something like this. Color, let's grab this color real quick. So color, and also font family. Font family needs to be Oswald as well. Oops. Okay, so Oswald, Arial, sans serif. Okay, that's starting to take shape. Now, since the differences between the prices are given are set in price 1, 2, 3, and 4 divs, I think it's a good place to add the font size. So font size, we start off at 24, I think. Yes, 24. So font size 24 pixels here. And let's see. All right, that's good. And one last thing, div price container span. Let's target that. And its font size needs to be just 12 pixels. and the color needs to be something like A1, A7, and BO. Oh, and look at that. It all works beautifully. Okay. So also let's do a padding, or rather a margin top for our paragraph here. So div price container paragraph, paragraph, and let's do a margin top of about, let's try with 30 pixels. And that doesn't work, so price container paragraph, margin top. Let's see what's going on here. So price 1, price container paragraph, margin top. Wonder if we use padding. Alright, so by using padding we solve the problem. Okay, don't really know why this happened, but I'll keep it in mind. If I find a solution by the end of the tutorial, I'll let you guys know. I suspect it's because the container here is, well, no, that's a stupid idea. Anyway, I'll keep it in mind. So that was the price one, and now all we need to do actually is copy this and paste it 3 more times to get the styles for the other 3 elements. So we're going to have price 2, 3, and 4, and the widths will increase by 10, the widths and heights. So we're going to have 122, 122. The font size is going to be increased by 4. This is 132, 32, and this is going to be 32 as well. And this will be 42, 42, and 36. Okay, that looks almost good, but I think the problem here, look, on the last one, it's not cut through the middle, so to speak. So I think that's because we used the same margin, for, yeah, the same margin for all of them, but we don't need the same margin because they get bigger and they increase by 10. So the logical solution would be to reduce the margins by 5. So we'd have 30, 25, and 20. And let's see if that makes any difference. And yes, it does. Look at that. Now they're all displaying properly. But the problem that we have is that the text is not aligning properly in the middle. So let's see. And the problem is that we set the same padding to all of them, when instead we need to do this. We need to set it for each individual class. So we're going to have div price 1 paragraph, padding top 30 pixels. Alright, so now we just need to adjust the padding for the next one, which logically should be 35 because it gets bigger. So let's see if this helps. This should be 40 and this should be 45. And of course, let's not forget to change the class names here. Alright, let's check it out. And that is perfect actually. And looks pretty good. Now, sorry to I forgot to do this before we started writing the CSS. So let's just throw this in a validator just to make sure our HTML is correct. Okay, that was good. Okay, so that was the first part of our table, which was the header part with the plan names and the price containers. Next, we need to start styling the main table, which holds the actual content. So table with a class of pricing table content. So let's see, we have table, let's say table heading styling, and now we would have table styling. Alright, so table, pricing table content, and let's see, we can target the table cells. First of all, text align needs to be centered like this, and then let's say the width of each table should be 230 pixels to match what we have on the top. And let's see what else. We need a border on the right, which is 1 pixel solid, and the color should be the same as the table container border, which is this E2, E7, EB. Something like this. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, looking good so far. Now you notice that the table kind of overlaps with the price containers, and that's because it takes the height value from the top cell here, the table cell that we made, which is 110, I think. Let's see, height 110. So it takes the height of the table heading. So this is kind of cut off, and the price containers overflow this section right here. So just to show you what I'm talking about, if we set overflow to hidden on the table heading, the rest of the price containers will be cut off. So now you can see where these came from. All right, so let's see, we have the TD, and let's go ahead and set a color for the text. Now the color should be 77, 80, and 8A. Something like this. The font is PT Sans, that was saved, and the font size is 14 pixels, I'm sorry. Alright, so let's start with the sign up row. Now the sign up row is going to be something like this: table, pricing table content, tr with a class of sign up row, td, and let's add some paddings. Padding top, let's start with a base value of 50, 0 on the sides, 0 on bottom, and 0 on left. And let's see if that pushes the elements enough. And it doesn't actually. We need a bit more, so let's go with 80. And 80 is pretty good. Maybe 75. I'll just stay at 75. And also, let's push down these elements right here. So let's see, top, right, bottom. Let's do 20 pixels on the bottom, and that pushed all the elements down. So now we have the sign up row. It doesn't overlap anything, and it just shows as it should. So if we take a look at the sign up row, we have anchor tags with a class of sign up button. So let's go ahead and style excuse me, and let's go ahead and style those real quick. And let's say custom buttons. Okay, so custom buttons should be something like a with a class of sign up button. Alright, first of all, color should be white, and we should have a background color, and let's go ahead and grab a nice green color from this. This will be the fallback color, and I'll explain that in a bit. And now background is going to be something like this: Moz linear gradient. So we start from the top, from (7.1) CE3E, and we go down to 60 BC2E. Alright. And again, background. And let's go ahead and target WebKit. So WebKit linear gradient is going to be top. Actually, it's the exact same syntax as above. Alright, so this this is for Firefox 3.6 plus, and this is for Safari 5.1 plus and Chrome 10 plus. Alright, so the syntax here, pretty straightforward. Moz linear gradient, we start from the top with this color and we end at this color, and we do the same for WebKit. Now the reason I included both syntaxes is if we use Firefox, then it's going to apply this. If we use something from WebKit like Safari or Chrome, it's going to apply this. If we don't use Firefox or Safari or Chrome, and the browser doesn't support linear gradients, then it's just going to fall back to this background color. So that this is just a fail-safe here. The last step, we need to add a border of 1 pixel solid, and let's go ahead and grab the exact color from the stroke like that, and let's check it out. Okay, looks pretty good. A few more things we need to add. Font weight, we're gonna make them bold like that, and let's add some padding around it. So padding, let's start with 10 pixels. 10 is good, actually it's a bit too much. 8, let's say 8 on the top, 15 on the sides. Yeah, 15 or 20, it's really up to you. But the problem that I see here, this space right here got shrunk considerably, and that is because if you use padding in an anchor tag, you don't really have the box properties. You don't have the height and the width, so you can access those, or the margins. So the whole thing is kind of pushed up. And just to demonstrate that, let me just clear the padding from the top here. So go with 0. And as you can see, the button kind of overlaps the middle now. This middle line, sorry. So we don't really want that because that's just wasted space. And one solution for this would be to add display block. But doing that, as you can see, cleared the problem. It's now displaying properly, but it's also displaying using the full width, so we don't want that. So instead we want a middle way between being displayed inline and being displayed as block. So that is called inline block. So now you can display it inline, but also you can benefit from the box properties of the element, which are height, width, and the margins. So now it displays properly. Alright, so let's put the padding back on, 75 pixels. Alright, so now we have the margins that we wanted for it, and I hope my explanation was clear enough. If not, you can go ahead and Google display inline block, and you can find more details about that. I recently read about it, and yeah, it's a very cool thing to use. So that is the button. Now all we need to do is create a hover state for it. So let's go ahead and copy this, and let's say a button hover. So we don't need all this anymore, we just need the color information. So if we go back to Photoshop now, let's grab this lighter color as the fallback color, and then we can grab the lighter colors, oops, okay. Alright, let's check it out. Very cool. And you can play around with the colors. You can create your own buttons. It's very simple to do. And actually, I think these are a bit too tall for my taste. So I'm just going to lower the padding to about 6, the padding top and bottom. So yeah, now they look much better. So I'm just going to keep them like this. Alright then, so let's check out our index HTML and see um, what we need to do next. Okay, so now we should go ahead and style all these rows. But first, let's take a look at the right side here. And as you can see, we have an additional border, and we don't want that. So uh, let's start from the top, and we have div with a class of table cell. Let's see, table cell, which one is the last? This one is the last. And let's have a quick look. Yeah, so table cell and a class of no border. And let's say no border, border right, none. So let's see if that made any difference. Let's zoom in here, refresh. Let's see if this line disappears. I don't think it did. And just to be sure, let's see, table cell. Let's change this to red so we can see it better. And as you can see, it's still there. So why isn't it working? We have table cell with a class of no border, and no border says border right, none. Let's see, border right, 1 pixel solid red. Now, let me just see if this is targeted properly. Alright, so we're not going to use important since it's mostly a hack. But instead, we're going to try to find out what's wrong here. I wonder if we do this, if it's going to have any effect. No, it does not. So table cell, no border. Let's see if we do this. Let's see if it has any effect. Well, it seems to work on these, on the table cells. So let's go ahead and add this to every single, last table cell, sorry. And also on this one, I think. So let's see if this magically disappears. Yes, it did. Very nice. But what should we do with with the other one. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it. So let me just check my original source here to see if I did something different, although I doubt it. Nope. It's the same as the original source. So no border, table cell. Well, the problem is that the no border class is not taken into account because we already have a border right, and this is just overwritten. All right, we'll just do it like this for now, not to bore you to death. All right, and we'll pick that up later on after we finish everything. So instead of red, let's just revert back to the color that we originally had. Oops. Which is 5D 6.1 and 6.3, like this. Okay, looking good. All right, and as I said, next step, let's style these those tables. So let's see. Scroll down here. All right, now let's go ahead and add some padding. So padding, we need about 10 pixels on the top and none on the sides, and that's just going to push things around a bit. Okay, that's looking good. And let's go ahead and add the backgrounds, the alternating rows, and this is what I'm talking about, these rows right here. So to do that, go back to index.html, and we need to do something like this: td with a class of, oh no, actually not the td, we can use the whole row. So with a class of alternate row, and we do this at number 2, number 4, number 6, and number 8. All right, so now if we do tr with a class of alternating row, td, and we set the background color to, I think it was F5, 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 we're gonna get this. Cool. Okay, next. And we've done the buttons, we've done the sign up thingy. And one thing that we forgot about, or rather I forgot about, is the strong, the bold elements here, and they need a separate color. So to do that, let's go to td and let's target strong color, something like this. All right, looking good. We are making real progress here. Last thing that we need to do in this first part is take care of the footer. And to do that, let's do something like this. So tfoot, I think we need to target the TD. So tfoot TD. Let's put a border top of 1 pixel solid, and I'm talking about this border right here. So it's the same color as the overall border. So it's going to be E2, E7, EB. And also let's add some paddings. Let's refresh first. Okay. Padding, it's going to be let's say 20 pixels and none. And that's going to push things around a bit. Let's say 25. And 25 looks just about right. Alright, let's see what we have in the footer. We have TD, we have an H4 span, and a paragraph. Alright, so for that we have tfoot TD, and let's target that H4 first. It should have a darker color like this, like the strong, which is this, and also a bigger font size. I think it was about 18 pixels. Yep, 18 pixels. And then tfoot TD, and let's target that span. Now the span will be font size 12 pixels. Color is going to be a very faint color, A1, A7, BO. And let's see what else. Let's refresh. Oh, okay. So we need to push down this sign up button, and for that, easiest way, just go to a span and say display block, and that's just gonna push this on the next row. And let me just do something real quick here. Alright, let's push this button down just a tiny bit. So TD span, let's say a margin bottom of about 20 pixels should be enough. Too much. 15, too much. 10, that's just perfect. Alright, so that is actually our finished pricing table. Well, it's not actually finished, it's about 80% finished, but we have everything that we need. And since I'm here, I get the chance to show you what I was talking about earlier in the movie, in the video, when I said that inputting more text into one of the rows will not expand the other rows, the other cells on the same row, if we're not using tables. So for instance, if we target this 10 email accounts, let's go ahead and find it. There it is. And we add some more text like this. You see, because we use tables, it automatically makes the neighbor cells the same height and vertically aligns the text. So this is very useful when you have like a lot of features, let's say, or a large text inside one of the cells. So imagine if I were to continue and add a short text here like this. So look what happens. It just resizes automatically, and that wouldn't happen if we don't use tables. So they have tables, even though they're kind of ancient. They have their uses, particularly when you're making projects like this. So let's get rid of all the noise here. Okay, and finally, the last thing that we need to do really to complete the coding bit is to add this recommended bit right here. So to do that, let's go ahead and do the following. Go to the table cells, find the one that you need, and you're going to have class table cell recommended. Okay, and we're going to do the same on each individual table cell that we need to have. We need it to look like it's more special. So it's every third table cell. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this and paste it here and here and every third row. Now this would be much easier if we were to use, if the 4 columns were separate entities, but since we're using tables, we have really no choice. So okay, this is what we need. Now going back to master CSS, let's say recommended style. Okay, and first of all we need to set the background for it. So let's say div excuse me, recommend, and the TD with a class of recommended. Alright, background is going to be a solid color. Let's pick it up, 3A, 3C, 3F. And also the color is going to be changed into this, A4, A8, A8C. So color is going to be this. Alright, let's have a look. And that looks almost good, except we still have the grid here. It means I haven't targeted this properly. So let's have a look back. Table cell recommended, table heading, sorry about this. Table heading. Since table heading contains the background information, it's only logical that this will be the one that needs to be targeted right now. Okay, so we have pretty much all we need, except we need these, the alternating rows. So let's see, we can do this table, pricing table. Actually, I don't think we need the whole shebang here. TR alternating row, TD recommended, so we get the cells with a class of recommended from the alternating row. These will have a separate background color, which is which is this 46484C. All right, let's have a look. There you go. Beautiful. All right, and we need to change the strong color to white on the recommended cells. So we get this looking good. And let's see, this line right here, it's too dark. It's too light, sorry. So let's see where that comes from. T-foot TD. So let's grab that. T-foot TD with a class of recommended. Border top 1 pixel solid, and the line color is going to be 4C4E52. Alright, so that took care of it. And if we look closely, we have these 2 pixels right here. And let's see why that's happening. So border top for TD recommended. Well, no, it's the correct. This is correct. Let's see. So T-foot, we have a T class recommended. I think the solution here is just to add a padding of 1 pixel on the top and bottom. Just to get rid of that. But that doesn't work. Okay, again, let's just leave this for last. Let's focus on the other elements, and we'll come back to it. So one last thing that we need to do here is add the H4 tag, which is this, which should be white. TD recommended strong H4. Oh, T-foot. TD recommended H4. So T-foot, TD recommended H4. And I think we need to go even further with the targeting. Oh, T-foot, sorry. There we go. So T-foot, and we targeted this H4 right here. Okay. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Now, if we take a look at the PSD, we see that the top part is kind of overflows, and it's just goes over the top of the main table by about 20 pixels. So let's go ahead and do the same thing, and we're going to do that by going to targeting table heading. So div recommended table heading, and we're going to say margin top minus 20 pixels, and let's see what happens. There we go. Our margin just goes over the top here by 20 pixels, but we do have a gap here. And the first thing that we'll be inclined to do is set a padding top of 20 pixels to counter that. And you'd be right, but normally you'd be right, but we also have a padding here. I mean, let's scroll up a bit. Let's see, table heading, look at this. Table heading, we also have a padding top of about 30 pixels. So we must consider that as well. So if we go down here and say padding top 20 plus the 30, so 50 pixels, it's just going to cover that up real nice. And you know, I don't know if that was clear enough for you why we had to do that, but let me just try to explain it again. Let's delete this. Okay. So what we did here is set a margin top of minus 20 pixels. Now what this did was shift the entire thing to the top by 20 pixels. If we need to compensate this, we need to make it bigger, but we also need to consider that the whole thing is pushed down by 30 pixels. So it's only normal to add those 30 pixels to the 20 that we have missing here. So therefore we need to set the padding top to 50 pixels, and that takes care of the problem. Okay, and the last thing that we need to do here is set a background, and we're doing this to add the badge. So URL is going to be image, and the badge is called badge recommended, badge recommended.png, and this should be top left and no repeat. Oops. There we go. Now the problem is that we replaced the background color with the background image. So just to get rid of that, we can just do this, copy the color. So we'd have background, color, and an image. So now if we refresh, we're going to have this, which is exactly what we want. But it seems I got the wrong color here, so just bear with me for a second. And the right color is 3A, 3C, 3F. Alright, there we go. So let's see, we have the badge, we move this to the top, we have the correct colors here, we have the correct colors here, we have the line, and the last thing we need is this image. And remember, we exported 2 sets of images, and when using the recommended column we need this gray stroke image. So to do that, a very simple way actually, we can do something like this: div recommended price 1, and we'll just have a different value for the background. like this. We don't need to change anything else, just the background color, just the background image. So it's going to be BG recommended. And we are setting this to all 4 columns because, well, we don't know exactly which one will be the recommended one. I mean, you can set this one to be the recommended one or this one. It doesn't have to be the third one always. So recommended, let's not forget about the dots here. Let's see, price 1 BG recommended PNG. Why isn't this working? Background URL img slash price 1 BG recommended .png. Recommended. All right. So it seems we made a little mistake here. So let me just go back and fix this. Price 1 BG recommended. Recommend. I forgot 2 letters. Sorry. All right. So there we go. Now it's showing properly. All right. So I think we actually made it. So let's see if we forgot anything. Looks good. We have all the buttons. We have all the elements here. All right. So that was it. Now there are 2 more issues remaining, and that is, one of them is with these little extra pixels here, and the other, what was the other issue? Oh yeah, the other issue was with the border here. Now the border here we can easily suppress with the important thingy syntax, and that's taken care of. But to be honest, I'm not really sure that's a big issue. I mean, if we leave it, I mean, it's just, you never see it anyway, so it's just part of the grid. It's the same color, so it's not an element that ruins the entire design. So I don't think it's worth spending any more time with it. Now, on the other hand, this one, I don't really like it, so I'm gonna spend just a little more time trying to figure it out and see what we can do to improve it. And actually, first, I'm just gonna look at my original code, and yeah, it's the same thing here. I missed it the first time. So let's see how we can get rid of it. Now, if you're bored and don't want to see it, you can close the video right now, but I'm just gonna spend a couple of more minutes trying to figure this out. So let's see. So did you have any ideas yet? Because I got nothing. And just to help me out a bit, I'm gonna go to the table cell and replace this. Replace this with red. It's oops, sorry, it's not actually table cell that I need to work on. It is the TD, which is this. All right. Okay. So now, if we take a look, and just to see it better, I think this is the one. Let's make this aqua. All right, just so we can see where it goes. So it overlaps with our main table cell border. So, well, this is actually weird because it shouldn't do that. It should not do that. But you know what? I don't want to make this tutorial like a day long. I probably can get to the bottom of this if I spend a couple of hours, probably, just because I don't see the solution right now. But um, I can either leave it like this, or I can change the color of this to be as close to the color of this line right here, so the difference is not going to be that obvious. So let's go back to Photoshop and try to find kind of a color that matches. So let's see this. Yeah, this is the one. So if we take this as an example, as a base color, I can probably do something like this. So let's try with this color right here. TD pricing table, let's see where it is. T for TD recommend, this is the one. So let's check it out. Pretty close, but not enough. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it like this. And if I find a solution, I'll make sure to post it in a comment below the video, so you guys can find out what happened here. But for now, I think this is pretty much done, guys. We have all the right elements. Now all we need to do is throw this into the Adobe Browser Lab to check it out in some other browsers. Now I've already done that, and I'm not going to spend more time doing it right now. And basically it looked fine in every single browser except IE7, and um, the only changes that I had to make in IE7 were padding changes right here, because it interpreted the paddings wrong, so I had to modify them. And also we had a problem with the Z index of this. And actually, I'm just going to show it to you anyway, just so you can see what's happening. So we need to upload this to a server. So I'm just going to pause the video real quick while I upload it, and be back in just 1 second. Okay, and I'm back. I just uploaded this, and I'm just going to fire up the browser lab so we can see what it looks like in IE7 and what kind of problems that we have with it. So oh dear. Okay, so I'm just going to test it in IE7. Okay, so these are the issues. As you can see here, the span here is kind of cut off, and we're going to fix that. And the whole, well, half of the pricing container is cut off here as well. So other than that, this looks just fine, no other issues. So before we start changing things for IE7, we need to include a JavaScript file, and that is the CSS browser select. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do a Google search for this. So CSS browser select. All right. And I've talked about this in some of my older videos. It's a very cool way to target different browsers from CSS. All you need to do is create this JavaScript file. Let's call it CSS browser select.js. Paste this in and include it in your index.html. All right. And the source is going to be CSS browser select.js. All right, and now all you need to do is go in your CSS file. Let's add, let's say, custom CSS for other browsers. All right. So if you want to target IE7, you do this dot IE7, and you just put in the property that you want to change. And in this case, we're going to do price container span. Now, if we take a look here, the span is cut off, and that's because it's not taking the properties that it has. It's not taking the box properties, the height, width, and margins. It's the stuff I was talking about earlier. And the solution for that is just to set display to inline block. And now if we take a look again in IE7, they are going to display properly. Now see what I was talking about with the paddings? You need to change these as well, and it's really very simple. All you need to do is IE7 and then target price one paragraph and set the new paddings. So padding top, I think I had about 25 pixels. Oops. and 30, 30, and 35, I think it was. Hold on, IE7, price 1, paragraph. Oh, sorry about this. Price 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, and as you can see, they've been pushed up. And you can play around with these if you want to achieve different positioning for those elements. Now, the only problem left is this. It's the price container being cut off, and that's happening because of the first table cell here that contains the sign up button. Now, the sign up the sign up cell is currently over this element, over the price container, and we need to change the Z index for it. So to do that, we're going to do this: IE7 div with a class of recommended table heading, and we're going to set the Z index to, let's say, 100, just to make sure. And then we need to do this: IE7, and we need to target this row right here. So what's it going to be? Table dot pricing table content tr sign up row td recommended, and that's going to have a Z index of 10. Now, if we refresh, you'll notice that nothing is happening. It's still the same, and that's because in order to make the Z index work in IE7, you got to do position relative. Don't ask me why, I don't know, nobody seems to know, but it's the only way to make it work. So if you do that, then the top part here, the table heading, goes over it, and it's as displaying the price container properly. Alright, so that was it actually. It looks good in IE7, and if you go ahead and test it in some other browsers, you'll see that it looks good as well. Now, just to make sure, one more time, let's go ahead and choose the validator here, and it's passed. So our work here is complete, and so is the tutorial. Thanks very much for watching, guys. This was a kind of a long, I think it's an hour and a half, the second video. But yeah, hopefully you found it useful, and don't forget to leave your comments and subscribe to Web Design Tuts for some more tutorials. But for now, this is Adi, and I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next time.